home, the edition. And I have the chance to meet a lot of amazing people. I'm kind of really glad. I have a lot of gratitude towards life. Bring me so much great puppeteer. And tonight we go towards Chicago. I have someone who are behind the Creventive Puppet Company. Please welcome in the screen Mr. Connor Asher. Oh my God!
Oh, wow. Hi, Caroline. Thank you so much for having me as a guest on your podcast.
Thank you very much to be here and to be so creative. I looked your website and I was like, okay, this is talent. This is someone who could make the job going. Even we are in this crisis, I see you are creative, and that's what I like.
Thank you.
Yeah. Could you
Yeah.
introduce yourself to our people who are watching the podcast right now, like how you start in puppetry and how you define your work?
Sure. So, yes, I'm a professional puppeteer, puppet instructor, and puppet builder. I work in television, film, and stage, and I have a little over 10 years of experience where I started taking it more serious. Um, but puppets have always been a part of my life. As far as I can remember, one of the biggest influence to me growing up was Sesame Street.
Yeah.
I always knew that there was something special there. Same with Fred Rogers. He was in my time, and I would watch him. Um, and same, I was involved in a puppet ministry when I was a kid. And, you know, over time, I kind of forgot about all of it. And many years later, was reintroduced when I was in high school. I was doing video production, I was doing art, a little bit of everything. And one of my partners who was working with me was doing movie reviews for me, and he said, "Hey, there's this new movie coming out when Disney brought the Muppets back into theaters in 2011." It's like,
Yeah.
okay, I'll go check it out. I went to go see it, and all those memories started flooding back. Oh, there's something really special about this, and I should look more into this. A couple months later, I saw one of the documentaries at the time, Being Elmo, A Puppeteer's Journey, which was
Yeah.
Kevin Clash's documentary. And that was the first time ever I really got to see behind the scenes, because you never think of like, was this done? What goes into this?
Yeah.
And with everything I was doing at the time, it was kind of the perfect medium. Like there was, I've seen and know many other puppeteers are influenced by this. There's so much that goes into puppetry. There's theater, there's performing, there's acting, there's voices, there's the whole design side.
Yeah. It's a disciplinary art. Like it's kind of, I can say that you have done many things to put all that together.
Yeah.
That's
Sure.
great.
It's it's always a learning experience, and just over, the more time that has gone on, the larger the world of puppetry has become to me. And, it just never ends, which I think is one of the things that hooked me. The puppet bug came and bit me through that, because
Yeah.
you would never get bored.
Yes. Amazing. I like that. And what makes the art of puppetry an art that you cherish? You have like some particularity that you really enjoy?
Yes. I guess that answer has changed over the years. It started as just something really inspiring. The characters were so believable, and it started more just with being inspired and about the characters, and over time that has evolved.
Yeah, character. The character is really a part of it, like when you fall in love, because I always like to talk about a crush. Like, do you have like a character you remember to observe and just say, okay, this is kind of like the moment of puppetry, like I get hooked to it? Do you
Yes.
have a specific moment? Yeah.
Oh gosh.
That's a tricky question, I know.
Sure. So it's a lot of different influences over the years for sure. One of my biggest, I think, the first times I've seen puppets in person outside of television was when I went to Navy Pier in Chicago, and one of my friends and now mentors, his name is David Herzog. He was a performer doing marionette variety shows, actually. And
Uh-huh.
between that and a few puppetry exhibits, actually, those were some of my first live exposures. And I remember, I guarantee, I can't remember, but I guarantee I was the kid who went up to afterwards of, hey, can I play with the puppet? I want to learn everything. Can you teach me? Okay. Let me go home.
Yeah.
So it's been,
that's That's great. Like we all have a little moment when we feel like the magic happening. And in your opinion, what will be the best field of study? Because you've been into television, but like, what is the best like courses or thing that a puppeteer must do to be really on the ball to the work?
sure. So it depends on what, I guess, part you want to go into, because there's so many parts into puppetry.
Yeah.
There's, you can choose to be a puppeteer, or you can be a puppet builder, a puppet instructor, or puppet designer. If we're just talking about puppeteers, one of the best pieces of advice that I would offer would be to study theater and acting. Um, I did a bit in high school. I wish I did more. And same now as a business owner through Creventive. When we do our live shows and I need an additional performer, or I need to hire
Yeah.
an additional puppeteer and train them, we try to get people who have been exposed to theater and are actors, is they come to it so much more
Mm-hmm.
naturally and can adapt and really catch on.
Yeah, that's a good definition. And they are like used to character, as you say, it's part of your practice. That's true.
Definitely.
And for
Sure,
the
yeah.
voice also.
Yeah, voices are always important, but definitely through conveying emotion. And
Yeah.
the biggest thing is, as a puppeteer, if you made and convince someone that that object is alive, that's, you
Yeah.
did your job as a puppeteer and no one knows you were there.
Yeah. That's amazing. And do you have your, like you do in instruction, you are a puppet instructor. Do you have your own definition when a kid or someone asks you, like, what is a puppet? Like, do you have a way to explain it?
Sure. So um I'm pretty standard on that. I think kind of like a lot of people are. A puppet to me is a object or tool that you can use to convey stories and bring, yeah, mainly stories to life. Just like anytime we're watching a movie, or a television show, or a story in, a theater or a simple puppet show, it's always about the story, and those are
Yeah.
tools to help bring them to life. um, so I would think of it that way.
Yeah.
An object you can bring to life.
That's good. And sometimes it's philosophical, an object that you bring to life. It's kind of
Yes.
really, really interesting. And do you think the puppetry art is in an ascension, or in your observation is getting maybe less popular? How?
Sure. So I believe, just through my time of being involved with the puppetry community and seeing the world as it is, and even outside of it, it always fluctuates. I
Mm-hmm.
think there's times where puppetry comes into the scene. There's a movie or show that comes out, and everyone knows that that's a puppet, and that's where it gets really big. Okay, now we need to use puppets, and then it'll go away. So I think it's a give and take. It comes back, but it's always been there, and I think it always will be.
Yes, it's in
So
and out, but like right now we saw so much stuff going on online, so much also people just bounce on it, like because they have a situation of like no get together moment. But as a builder, how it goes, also your company builds some puppets and sell it, and is it a good time to sell, or sometimes it's maybe more
sure.
difficult?
Yes. So as far as building puppets, that's something. So when the pandemic happened, my bread and butter was doing puppet shows. I would, perform for libraries, schools, camps, and festivals, and then all that was taken away.
Yeah.
Uh, Same with doing workshops as well. So all of my workshops were made to tour. So I would bring them to the same types
Yeah.
of clients, but all of that is also gone. So now it's a matter of adapting, and same last year too, because my business has it's essentially 3 years old. 3 years where I finally rebranded it into, okay, my focus is just going to be puppetry and puppets.
Uh-huh.
Because prior to that, it was just I was kind of just figuring out what did I want to do, because I was doing sculpting, I was doing mold making, I was doing illustration and animation, and then finally was like, okay, I just need to focus on one thing,
Uh-huh.
puppetry. That's what I love the most and inspires me the most, and that I feel the most and passionate about. So that's what I want to do. But going back to your question, I'm sorry.
No, no problem. It's
um,
good.
sure. So I think it's a wonderful time to be a puppet builder if you can be. Um, that's one of the great things with learning the fluctuation of business over the years.
Yeah.
It's a lot of old people who I've learned from, who have become mentors to me, who have been doing puppets for their living. Um, they still have the work, but as for a new business, it's been really hard to pick up traction. And there's
Mm-hmm.
parts of the year where things are on fire, like particularly summer and fall have been really good for me, but winter and spring have been really terrible when it comes to doing puppet shows and workshops. So
Mm.
during those times, I've had to adapt and do puppet building.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of, I'm sure as many other puppet builders feel, there's a lot of output that goes into
Yes.
that, and time and commitment of, okay, well, the client doesn't like this now, I need to change it over and over and over until you get there. And same if you work with theaters, you know what I'm talking
Yeah.
about. The
Yeah.
actors are just like, oh, it's a puppet, and then you're back there fixing up the puppet again.
Yeah.
So I think it's a wonderful time. There's money to be made, and there's people always looking for puppets to tell stories with, whether it's a gag or
Yeah.
whatever it may be. But that's what I'm doing currently, and it's getting me by. I have a couple different commissions that I'm
Mm.
in the middle of right now. Some I can talk about, some I still can't.
Yeah.
Um, but
That's good.
it's a wonderful business to be in, and you can, if you work hard at it, you can definitely make money.
Yeah, I really like the fact that you present it as a business also, because sometimes we talk about, oh, it's art and but it's also a matter of like making the show on the road, making the object on the road. I was also curious about your T-shirt. Is it the Paul Vincent Davis T-shirt?
Yes.
Yeah. The puppet show places all around. That's amazing. I saw it. I was like, okay, I think it's an insight about like a wonderful puppeteer who do some draw, and it's
Yes,
great.
Paul is wonderful. I don't believe I have met him, but I really like his work, and same with Honey, who designed this. It's a great
Yeah.
shirt, so I will wear
Yeah.
it proudly.
Yeah, that's good you wear it on the podcast because we get Honey earlier in the season. And I
Yes.
always like to ask a big question about the future. Do you have a bigger purpose as a puppeteer? Like something you said, in my career, I want to go there, I want to achieve that, like something you cherish about your job?
Sure. Honestly, like I think like any other business, especially with puppetry, it always will fluctuate. Um, there's parts that I really enjoy and love doing, and there's parts that I'm also like, okay, well, I need to do this because it's what I need to do in order to pay the bills, because this is what I do full time, and I've been very fortunate to make that my career. Um,
It could be also humble. People sometimes say, I just want to live of it, or it
sure.
depends. Sometimes you can be really futuristic or ambitious. We have
Yeah.
like people also here who say hi to you. Alexander, Suez, and Jared Ramirez also. Hi guys,
Hey
thank you
guys.
for watching.
Yeah, but there's parts that I really enjoy doing. Through the business side, like last winter, things were very rough.
Yeah,
There were no shows coming in, there were no workshop bookings, and so I had to adapt, and I started doing commissions, which was nice. But a big part of me really wanted to get back into doing what got me into puppetry in the first place, which was pursuing television and film work. And
yeah,
fortunately, I had a couple really nice gigs earlier this year. In January, I got to work on the new Yippee TV series, which was called Pete and Penelope, um, which was a wonderful experience, and the puppeteers on it were so great to work with in the crew. That was kind of me coming back to it, and it was really nice too. It's kind of like the New Year's resolution. This is what I want to do and get back into, and it happened
with
on January 1st.
amazing. You
And
have a
so,
strong wish.
yeah. So it's like now it's like, oh well, things have changed, but I'm really happy I had those experiences, and I'm starting to kind of focus back into that world.
Yeah,
Um, for me, when I do my live shows, I usually perform with glove puppets and mouth puppets and a little bit of everything. And you're doing two characters at once because that's what you need to do. And as much as I love that, and same, get I've never, how should I word this? I've gained so many wonderful and awful stories by touring, but they're experiences that I always remember and always cherish, and that have
yeah,
grown me, that I would have never gotten otherwise. But it's also nice to do the TV stuff where it's like I just get to focus on my one job.
yeah.
I don't have to load in and load out. I don't have to do all the business stuff. I just get to come in and be a puppeteer, and that's it. And that's nice.
That's
But
amazing.
I think that, and then also too, just like many other puppeteers and puppet businesses are currently doing, is adapting and finding ways
Mm.
to get through this pandemic. And so right now, I have some extra help, which has been nice, and we're kind of we're figuring it out like everyone
Yeah,
else. But we're starting to move all of the classes that we have taught, our class repertoire, and our shows online, which
yeah.
it's going to take some time, but that
Yeah, it's a really big adaptation. But you cover like all the spectrum of a puppeteer. You can be by yourself in a school doing the two character, and you can be also at television or in a big show just doing one stuff and be more on a good layback position. It's really amazing how it's diversified and it's a
yeah.
lot of stuff.
Definitely, yeah. And that's, the more I've been exposed to puppetry, one of the greatest things that I'm really glad that I did was get involved with my local puppetry guild. And that's the Chicagoland Puppetry Guild. Through that, I've been able to meet so many other people between, um, puppet enthusiasts, professionals who have been doing this for a living, and builders and craftspeople,
Yeah.
everyone in between. And being involved with that has opened my eyes to so many just different forms of puppetry, seeing the value in everything, and also getting wisdom from other people, which has been great. And those people, like I said, have become really wonderful friends and
Yes.
mentors. And
That's a
it's
good point. I always said that it's good to associate between puppeteers. I really like this that you mentioned the guild, or like we have Unima, who is like the international association. All of those crew of people make you like wide open, as you said. It's amazing. Do you
definitely.
have a friend you want to bring into the screen to conclude this wonderful episode? Alexander said he'll enjoy your story. You're
Sure. So I have two guys here. I'll bring this guy in. This was so he's a lot of fun.
I love her. I love it.
Oh, hello, Caroline.
Hello.
Hi.
Amazing. What is your name?
Well, he'll tell you that one.
So this guy doesn't particularly have a name or a character. He was for a project I just worked on in late February with the story company. But
So they wanted to call him Dexter. So my name is Dexter right now, but I'm
Yeah.
still kind of going through some self-discovery and figuring out where I want to go.
I like that. It's kind of a bad question to ask the name of a puppet. You are who you are.
Exactly. Why do names matter, right?
Yeah, you are plenty of color and you have plenty of expression. Why a name? Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, and are you intelligent? Like I saw your glasses. You must read a lot of book.
Well, see, that's what I use to make people think that I'm smart and handsome. But I actually don't really know what I'm doing.
No, don't be shy. You have a lot of personality.
Oh, thank you. Well, I'm still working on it.
Yeah, it's to know ourselves is something big. Like, people start their life from the beginning. They try to know who they are, and maybe the guy on your side know who he is. Like, does he know?
Yeah, he's still figuring it out. He knows that he likes wiggling dollies. But that's
Yeah.
It's just like everything else. Things adapt and change and move, and you just gotta roll with the punches.
Yeah. Punch like ding, ding.
That's right.
The screen. Ding.
Oh, there we go. Here, I see. There we go. Yes.
Yes. Amazing. I love it. I love, and it's a wonderful conclusion. Say,
Yes.
Dexter, say to your puppeteer that it was a pleasure to have him in the podcast.
It was a pleasure to have you on the podcast. just next time, bring me back. Don't bring him.
Okay.
He has no value to add to this.
Thank you, Connor. It was amazing to meet you and get to talk about adaptation and television and everything. We will put the link of your company down in the comments so people could go to see the wonderful work you build and those kind of guys who are really attractive.
Oh. I'll remember that. All right.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It was wonderful to talk to you, and I hope we get to talk again soon.
Yay! Yay! Thank you everyone for watching that, and see you next week. We have plenty of episodes coming in, so stay tuned, subscribe, share, and everything. You know what to do. Oh! God, I cannot conclude on this. We have a new friend.
Wait,
We haven't.
you want another one?
You don't want to close the show, but
Well, he was just supposed to pop in and leave. It's supposed to be for next time.
okay, next time. So I have
Okay.
a good pretext to bring you back. Thank you,
Okay.
Carter.
Of course. Thank you so much.
You. Bye.